right wing or left wing?
I really like buffalo wings.
Hi, and welcome back to Through the Muck and the Mire. I'm your host, David Hollifield, and joining me tonight will be Max Eve, and we're going to tell you a little bit about Wallstreetbets. So as soon as Max gets here, we're going to dive right in. Max Eve! I can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Hello.
Hello, mate, and welcome back to Through the Muck and the Mire.
Righto. Let's go kill some fucking ruse.
Some ruse?
Some ruse. It's fucking ruse.
Did I disturb you in a nap there, sir?
No, I was just waiting.
Oh, you were waiting on me? That's funny.
Yeah. Well, you were waiting on me, and then I was waiting on you. The tables turned.
Righto. How the turn? What does he say? How the turntables?
How the turntable.
All right, so let me go ahead and throw out a disclaimer real quick. Nothing in this video should be construed as financial advice. Do not buy or sell or do anything because of the information that you're hearing from us. Neither one of us are financial advisors. We're not experts in the field or anything like that. We're just here to give you the dumbed down version of Wallstreetbets for dummies by dummies, and we're the dummies. So
Oh boy.
where do you want to start? I guess we should start with like what even is this, because there's a lot of people don't.
I've seen the stories have been covered by a lot of outlets, and they all pretty much have to start with what are hedge funds, what is shorting,
right? And also let's not get too far in the weeds. Like we're gonna do basics. So like we're not gonna be explaining to you what hedge fund is in detail, or shorts, or options, or any of this stuff. Just like I basically just want to get to like what's the overall arch of the story, and kind of what's the principle behind the reason why this is happening.
Right. And so would you like to explain that? Or
I mean, I can touch on it a little bit. I think you might have a little bit more information than I do, but
sure, you start.
So in general, GameStop, everybody knows they were already kind of struggling for a long time, and then their brick and mortar, they really didn't have much of an online basis at all, or if anything at all. But obviously coronavirus happened, and they didn't have the online infrastructure to really survive that. And so it was looking really bad for them. And there was basically these hedge funds started to kind of gang up on them, and they're betting on them losing. So these hedge funds putting money on GameStop losing is helping GameStop lose. And it's a bunch of rich fucking people that are trying to make. Say again.
It's what's been done for over a century, basically. Just
right.
It's gotten more normal.
Yeah, they're making money, like just super rich people making money on watching people fail, businesses fail. All like 50,000 employees that work for GameStop would be, these people would be just patting their pockets with these people's unemployment. So it's just crazy.
It's like sinister, like Disney villain shit.
Right.
That they do basically. And now and it's funny because the app that most of these people use is called Robinhood, but that's what's happening.
Yeah. Stealing from the rich to give to the poor is fucking the whole thing. Like, it's really inspirational for me. And it's probably cheesy, but it gives me like chills to think about people coming together like this and fucking just like fighting the power, basically.
Yeah, and we've gone from the 2008 Occupy Wall Street to infiltrate Wall Street, where basically people have gone in with the Trojan horse of like their rules, and their millennial fucking kids in their mom's basement, a lot of them probably have trust funds. Some of them just like made money by like doing this, and like now they have the money to like as a collective body. Like that's why. Yeah. Yep. So basically it's never really happened to this extent, what we're saying.
Right. And then, so to build on a little bit, like part of the problem behind it, why the SEC and the FTC and like all these people are freaking out about it, is because they're calling this market manipulation. And, there's the subthread on Reddit that's saying, like, basically the case that they're going to have to try to build to shut this stuff down is to say that all of these people came together and have basically manipulated the market on purpose, which is what hedge funds do all the fucking time, and they don't get in trouble for it. But they're saying that people don't actually like the stock. They're just ganging up on it to screw over the hedge funds. Now, that might be a result of it, but people actually do like the stock.
It's a bonus at a minimum.
Right. I like the stock. And
right.
And that's like, so that's like what the Redditors are saying is like, I like the stock. And the reason that they do like the stock is because they had their moment where they swung the momentum around, which was like in August. And they're trying to solve their problem of not having the infrastructure to build up their online, to get rid of their reliance on brick and mortar. So they got what was it, like the CEO, CFO, and like three
Melvin.
from Chewy, who specialize in online sales.
Sorry, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Melvin is the bad guy here.
Yeah,
Chewy, yeah. So they got these bigwigs from Chewy to come in first. I can't remember his name, but he bought a bunch of it. He bought into the stock a lot. And then he actually got on board with them, and he brought two of the guys from Chewy with him. And so they're like, yeah, we're going to build this up and we're going to save the company. And then I think that's when the hedge funds actually were like, nah, we're betting on you losing, and we're going to put a bunch of fucking money on it and try to make sure that it actually happens. And so that's kind of like the principle behind it is like a lot of people got excited about Chewy joining in to help GameStop and fix the problem. And they're like, holy shit, these rich people are about to tank GameStop on purpose to make money off of people losing their jobs. And that's like the whole principle behind it. It's like, fuck these guys. How is it okay for them to do that? And if we actually came together and decided to start buying this stock when they're doing these call options, or not call options,
there's not, like, the way Reddit works, probably most people that listen to this have some idea, but like, there's not like, first of all, there's moderators that have a strict policy, and basically the moderators in this subreddit are pretty sincere of a position, because you have 2 million people in Wallstreetbets subreddit. It's a lot of people. I
think it's 3.3 now.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure.
It went from, I think it was 1.9 2 days ago to 3.3 today.
I mean, I certainly hopped in, so I'm one of those. But it's like basically like you have, they have to make sure that there's not laws being broken and stuff. But ultimately, if there's hype about something, it's not like it's not like a special organization or the kind of shit we saw from senators fucking 11 months ago. It's like just people, like he said, they like the stock, and they're basically, they're basically, they call themselves retards. They are just like FOMO, fucking YOLO, and like it's a movement of, look, if we lose all our fucking trust fund millennial money, at least we helped fucking GameStop, and we fucking put these Wall Street fat cats on their knees. Mm-hmm. And like that again, that's such a, like you said, it's a inspiring story after what happened in 2008 and what's happened since, and what basically has become the norm. Like, you have people on cable news that are just like, I mean, there was like conversations today about like bailing them out right now. Like, there was actually that going on, because that's like, for some people, like just I guess automatic instinct of like, that's what we need to do. We need to bail out our Wall Street people. But it's like, you got fucking people waiting on their fucking $1,400 or $2,000 or whatever the fuck checks right now. and the economy at its knees, and fucking like, you know, if you're taking money from people that were basically profiting off companies failing, then that is some vigilante kind of like shit, you know. I mean, it's a great, it's a good phenomenon all around.
It's Robinhood, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
but it's not. I wouldn't even call it like
vigilante.
So,
Yeah,
but Robinhood stole from the rich and gave to the poor. It's not really stealing. Like they're working this.
The rich at their game with their rules.
Exactly. We're not even breaking rules. We just like the stonk and we're gonna buy it, and they're gonna fucking lose money off of it. But we're playing by their rules.
The media, like if you turn it on, they're probably like, "Oh, Robinhood, that's the app where people steal from the rich." And that's the thing. Like that's probably the lingo. Yeah. So I guess good job being specific on that, because God damn it, it's like people get their panties in a fucking wad. They're fucking, tungsten $1 billion panties, whatever fucking billionaires wear. And they're just like, oh man, these fucking kids, they got us today. And it's like, oh, now you have fucking $1 billion instead of $2 billion in your fucking hedge. But yeah, like that's the thing, man. That's what's crazy. These are people that, a lot of these are just people that probably are just having fun, and they're like, yeah, it's money. But there's also like stories popping up of people that have, got out of a fucking issue with their mortgage. Or, I mean, and there will be more of that.
Yeah. But yeah, I've seen a lot of inspirational stories on that subthread that it's like, I was able to pay for my mom's surgery, or like, a lot of crazy stuff. Like people have made, I know somebody made, not even off GameStop. So this is now, they've taken this idea of looking at companies that are being shorted, and like when they're being shorted by these $1 million companies, like they're basically being forced into failure. So they've taken that formula now, and they've started applying that to other companies and looking at like, okay, well, let's see where all these hedge funds are putting their bets on companies failing. And that's why now you see AMC, BlackBerry, Nokia. There's a couple other ones now, but basically none of these companies are shorted to the extent that GameStop was, because they actually were shorted
140%.
Yeah, so you'll have to look up and understand like what shorting is and stuff like that. But essentially they bought up 140%, 40% more than the actual amount of stocks that are in the market.
They were being very greedy.
Right. Like it shouldn't even be possible. The amount that they shorted the company shouldn't even be possible, because it's above 100% of the shares that are in the market. It's stupid. But
it puts a very bad taste on the stock for the market. So you're basically assuring that this company doesn't do well, but also removing all of its capital in case it has to declare bankruptcy. And that is the issue. Like there's so much at play when this happens, and it's so normal that ultimately like kind of decides what the fate is of these companies.
Right. And so like I was saying, they've taken this formula now, and they've said like, okay, this doesn't have to be the last one that we do this to. We can start trying to support. And I don't say, when I say we, that kind of like helps them build this case for like, oh, this is market manipulation. But it's not any different than me coming to you as your friend and just being like, hey, Max, are you into stocks? And then we start talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, today I bought this company. And you're like, oh, why did you buy that company? And I make my case for why I think that this company's going to do well. So that's what they're doing here. They're like, oh, well, these fucking companies are being assholes, so I'm buying it because I want to support that company against these assholes. And so this is the formula now, is that you look at what company that these assholes are being
it's public.
Assholes to.
It's all
it's public information. And you're like, oh, well, AMC is being targeted by these assholes, so I'm going to give my support to AMC.
Yeah, who basically just said, this is how we avoid bankruptcy. And that's why they went up in the first place. Like, I fortunately, like I've been pretty largely out of the GameStop loop here, but I actually had AMC in my portfolio, and because
You already had it prior to,
I had it in November.
and
And
you kept it.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I mean, what was explained to me was that they'll probably get bought up and absorbed in a good way anyway. So like,
yeah, I have a buddy that bought it for like $2 over a year ago, and
well,
like
that's what I thought.
he posted online today, like he had no clue about Wallstreetbets, none of this stuff. He had no clue, and he just saw his account spike this morning to like $19 a share from $2, his original purchase price, and he could sell it because on AMC, I think through, it was through, which one was that? I think I have
Webull, maybe
Ameritrade. TD Ameritrade was the one that
all of them kind of froze today. Like I did this in a very safe, like Roth IRA kind of thing, because I just didn't want to risk a lot with it. I was just like, I'm going to put a safe amount that I'm okay with losing. And so basically it all froze. And that's another thing that happened here. Like there were multiple times in the past couple days that the SEC and like basically the powers that be were just like, we're going to freeze these millennials from like it's called halting, but basically that's what it is. And that only happens. I mean, this kind of thing doesn't happen if the big cats are making this much money. So it's there's a lot coming to light on the double standard at
right
in the market.
Yeah, I was reading a good explanation and analogy of it is to look at Tesla. A lot of bigwigs have shorted Tesla, like a ridiculous amount of people have shorted Tesla, and basically these short squeezes are where that they're assuming that Tesla's going to drop. So let's say Tesla's worth $1,000. They're like, oh well, that's way overpriced. It's probably worth 700 or 800. We're going to short it. And when more people unexpectedly buy it and it drives the price up, that's like screwing them out of the money that they were going to make on betting that it was going to go down. So then they're forced to buy into it, and that drives the price up even further. So that's exactly like what is happening now, is that all of these people are buying to screw over their shorts. So now these billionaires are having to hedge or, basically cover their shorts. And so them doing that forces them to buy into the stock, and they actually are driving the price up as well.
So a good example, in 2020, Tesla short sellers lost $40 billion collectively. And then Elon Musk made $120 billion.
And he loves this too. It's so funny that he joined in, and all he said was what? I love stonk.
Yeah.
And it fucking surged. It surged GameStop's, him. I can't remember his name. Who's the other guy?
It's funny because he fucking pisses me off like half the days, and then he just like does shit like that, and I'm like, yeah, all right. But he's a fucking brilliant weird guy. So
I love Elon. He's a genius.
I love him. Sometimes I don't, but most of the time I love him. But he that's the main thing, is like these guys have, the market is changing because it's becoming more accessible, and because we just spent a year of people at home with nothing better to do but learn how to day trade and learn how, well, not just day trade, but swing trade, and learn how to, collectively use the hive mind of Reddit and like social media that they've basically made for a decade, and then mix that with the access to these things. So it is, we've continuously seen how the internet can change things.
Yeah.
And we saw January 6th in a different way, how the internet can change things. But it's like, in this sense, it's not even like that. It's like just I think there were a couple very intelligent people who posted on that subreddit, and basically made the front of it. And so at that point, you're broadcasting an idea, and it's up to everybody else to hop on board of that. And Reddit's very good at that kind of thing. And the thing is, if it was a bad idea or if it had holes in it or whatever, it would not get to the point where it was successfully broadcasted. So it kind of is like a very democratic way of spreading information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be argued. I don't want, I'm that's me. I play devil's advocate, but
Sure.
Well, I was just gonna say, you said if it had holes or flaws in it, then it wouldn't be successful. But the whole like Q Anonymous has like fucking millions of followers, and it's pretty flawed.
I'm talking about, well, sure, on the QAnon subreddit that are now not a thing because they incited violence. This is on this subreddit. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
that's the categorization of whatever, of like,
this is the Dummies video, so you don't have to correct yourself. It's all right.
Cool. Well, I try to get my like Scrabble words right and stuff. But like 50,000 different subreddits. Yeah, of course, like, if you post something on Nature is Metal, it better be a damn good video of like a yak gutting a walrus or something, like, like.
Is that a real page?
Yeah. Oh, it's really awesome.
Gonna have to add that immediately.
Yeah. It's there's some really good. I mean, like I said, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with how Reddit works, but if you're not, then go get in that rabbit hole.
You popped my cherry on Reddit, and I'm glad you did.
Oh, I forgot about that. You didn't know?
Yeah. I joined. I didn't even join when you told me to, like a year ago. I joined 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Which also that brings me to another point. So the page got shut down for a while today, and apparently it's happened before, like a couple weeks ago, I guess. But I wasn't on it a couple weeks ago, so I don't know. I'm just going off the word that I read on Reddit. But there were a couple rumors. So the Discord page did get shut down by Discord for what they said was for their content. The Reddit page, I don't think there's ever been an official story of saying why it went quiet. It was only for a few hours, but some people were like, oh, the SEC, the FTC, like whoever forced it to shut down, or that Reddit shut it down and that they're silencing us, or some crap like that. And then other people were saying, no, the page just saw like this ridiculous influx of basically like bots, fake accounts. They're worried about the hedge fund people like getting in on the inside, and there's just a lot of stuff. They needed to moderate the page essentially, so they shut it down, cleaned up what was illegal, because there are people in there that don't represent the entire group that are in there pushing an agenda.
And the normal page that I looked at was also doing that, basically, which was like a more general like stock page, but like basically like there's people that know that they can try to sway opinions by getting bots to just over and over again, all caps, like, oh my God, I'm investing in Bed Bath and Beyond, and it's like, if you want Bed Bath,
a stock ticker and fucking 10 rocket emojis behind it.
Yeah. And then like people even make like these big space like diagram, like from like little asterisks and stuff. It's adorable. But basically like I think yesterday morning, you had on MSNBC or some shit, like a guy actually infiltrate the subreddit and like post his message of saying, Yeah, I even made a username and put in my 2 cents or something like that. And so like it wasn't even like necessary for him to say that for this to happen, but like the Redditors figured out that was a infiltrator because they just made an account and started with that comment.
Right.
And then they downvoted them into like oblivion to where they can't really use their account anymore. So, while they were showing it on the news, like nationally.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'll try to pull up a image of that and add it on here.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just, that's the kind of shit Reddit does. That's just, it's really wonderful. Like
the page is back up, by the way, for anybody.
Yeah.
You know, and so also just to clarify, it's 1:10 in the morning on January 28th. So that's when this information is relevant. But so they open the page back up and I can view the page, but since I'm I guess because I'm only 6 months into Reddit and I don't have that much karma and like comments and stuff built up, I can't actually comment on any of those posts. Which is interesting because the bot moderator, when that message populates for me, it says that your account has to be at least 1 month old. My account is 6 months old. So I'm not really sure why it's flagging my account in particular, but
it's probably just being cautious. I mean, it's very much fragile right now, I think, too. That's the thing, is that these moderators, man, they're the real MVP here, because they got to figure out how to deal with this, how to basically deal with the national attention, and then the infiltrators, and then basically not breaking laws.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. But the main thing is they figured it out so that they have been able to, I mean, we're talking about $13 billion lost by like the Melvin hedge fund. Like like that's enough money that it would pay off all the student loans in the country that was just given from Wall Street to millennials.
Damn.
On Reddit.
Yeah. And it's not over yet.
And you know, other people who opt in. That's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of people that just, you know, if you believe in open markets and stuff, like they're gonna, I promise you there's gonna be rules that change and stuff. But okay, so this is probably where we get to the more relevant part of your podcast and like the politic part. But like there are a lot of commentators on this in the national spotlight. I pulled up some quotes I wanted to point out. But basically, like you have like, fortunately, a little bit of bipartisan protecting this. But it is more of the progressive Democrat kind of thing that are, you know, like I said, first you had the Occupy Wall Street. Now we had the Infiltrate Wall Street. So it's kind of like almost seen as like a continuation of that. But like Elizabeth Warren said tonight, with stock soaring while millions are out of work and struggling to pay their bills, it's not news that the stock market doesn't reflect our actual economy. For years, the same hedge funds have private equity firms and wealthy investors dismayed by the Gamestop trades that have treated the stock market like their own personal casino while everyone else pays the price. It's long past time for the SEC and other financial regulators to wake up and do their jobs. And with blah, blah, blah. But like, basically that's it. Like, it's like, there's a double standard. This has been happening for a long time. This is the casino of Wall Street that bankrupts companies in their wake. And I feel like that was like there's a lot of other, you know, inputs from politicians and stuff, but that's the gist of what's happening. It is just, let's call it for what it is. If you want to fix it for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to pick a side. Is it bad to quote unquote manipulate the market, or is it only bad when Poor people do it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm in the same spot. I haven't really paid too much. I've seen the things that have been posted a lot, which has mostly been the AOC and Bernie and Elon Musk and you know, Justin Amash, stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't really go digging for political stuff. I haven't really paid much
I think
the politics today at all. I've been watching.
There's I've had a busy day, but basically my and you know this will age well or not well, but I've basically picked up on there's been conversations of the SEC shutting down GameStop for a month to where you can't. And that's the thing. It's like, okay, if Wall Street was running it into the ground to where they could never be a company again and was making, you know, buying 7 more yachts from GameStop going under per Wall Street fucking douchebag, it's like they wouldn't do shit. They've like, it's only been warranted to freeze like the market when there is when the when the economy basically goes down 7%, like that's a reason to do it. But I think the last time that happened was March 15th of last year. But you know, it's like you're gonna fucking use that as like a first resort against these kids, and then the markets aren't free anymore. What the fuck? It's like even Bernie Sanders believes in free markets, and that's ultimately that is why he's not the socialist like people try to make him out to be.
The markets are not free.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're learning. There needs to be a umbrella standard, and there needs basically figure out what the fuck you want to do. But you know, if you're going to, I feel like it's relevant to the whole like snowflake thing. It's like people call others snowflakes, and then when it happens to them, they're like,
How dare you? You're a bully. Reported. David Hollifield gets a 7-day ban from Facebook for calling Trump supporters snowflakes. I'm still on a fucking Facebook ban right now because of quote unquote bullying Trump supporters that have been screaming snowflake for the last 4 years.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's the same shit. And so another parallel to politics that was like an immediate thought for me, which we talked about earlier, how it's inspirational to see people stand up and get together for a good cause and make things happen. And I just don't understand why we haven't done that in politics yet. And it's like the immediate thought in my head was like, how many people saw these conversations on Wallstreetbets and said, I'm not going to buy GameStop because other people aren't actually going to buy GameStop? You know what I'm saying? You know how many people probably read that shit and said, "Oh, this is never going to work." Not enough people are going to support this movement for it to actually work, so I'm not going to risk my money for it.
It's a very important point, and yeah, I mean, it's good.
And that's the same exact thing that happens with voting, and you know, so that specifically is, you know, I'm coming from a libertarian like candidate standpoint with that specific quote of, you know, they're not, I'm not going to vote for him because nobody else will vote for him. I don't care if it's a libertarian party, a green party, a patriot party, like whoever the fuck you want to vote for. If you agree that the duopoly is not representing the people, that they're corrupt, that they literally are backing these people in Wall Street, you know, then why can't we come together the same way that these people did? They did the same thing for Bitcoin.
And this is
like, enough people eventually bought into the idea of Bitcoin that Bitcoin is fucking $40,000 per Bitcoin right now. $40,000.
Is it still?
Yeah. It's at least 30. It was fucking 12, like
right.
less than a year ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that's what I meant by everything's changing. These old boomers fucking can't keep up and they're intimidated.
It's 31.8. So it peaked
Yeah,
at, let's see.
good time to buy in, honestly.
It peaked at almost 42.
Yeah. Yeah.
2 days after 2 days after the Capitol.
Well, after JP Morgan, basically like a Wall Street candidate, like came in and was like, all right, we're going to 150,000. Yeah. And they're trying to regulate it a lot. And, it'll probably, I don't mess with that. But
but just for reference though, it was in December, it was 18,000. Right now it's almost double that. Let's see.
Figurative currency, basically.
March, when the market collapsed, it was worth $5,000. Right now it's worth 31.8. 31.8.
Yeah,
less than a year later.
That happened to a lot of things this year, and that's the other thing. It's like,
but the point that I'm making is that it's buy-in. People have now gotten to the point where they believe in Bitcoin. It's fucking worth $32,000. Enough people bought into GameStop and fucking over these hedge fund people that they're like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah. And so we can do that exact thing, I guess, is really the point that I want to drive home, is that we can do the same thing. I don't care if you're on the left or on the right or somewhere in between.
Right.
If you agree that politicians are corrupt pieces of shit and they're lying to us, then we can come together and fucking get them out of office. Anyways, go ahead.
For sure, man. And I mean, like that is the moral of this amazing story that will, be in economical economy textbooks, for a long time is just like a pivoting point where, but beyond that, right? Yes. Hopefully that, this is applied to other things, and ultimately, like, we are the many against the few, and we, there are so many people of go into politics, the 80 million people that voted for Joe Biden that didn't want to but had to, and there's so many people that of the 74 million that voted for Donald Trump because they didn't want to but had to. And it's like, if you make it so that people can just say, fucking, we demand other options, I feel
the reality of it is that, like you're saying, that didn't want to but had to, is that they didn't have to. They never had to. Just like nobody has to let GameStop fail.
All right. They felt morally, I'm speaking for myself, right? They felt morally obligated to, only
because you didn't believe that a third choice could have
yeah, but I think the 6th, what happened made it pretty concretely clear that,
but the 6th didn't happen before November 3rd.
No, I'm just saying it just made it clear that there was some warrant of concern.
Yeah. The last thing that I want to say about GameStop, and then I'll cut this off. I mean, you can keep talking, but a very relevant point is that people are wondering, if they did buy in, is it going to crash before Friday? So Friday, I guess, is the day that the shorts are supposed to expire. This, again, like, you need to do your own research about how shorts close and all this stuff. So it's like, what's it called? Days to closing, or days to cover. So essentially, like, that's a very important thing that we need to pay attention to. If you did buy in, is days to cover is the amount of time that it actually takes for these companies to close out their positions. And the estimate right now, based off the amount of shorts that there are in the company, is that it would take 6 days for them to cover all of it. So if they started to cover on Friday, if Melvin and all these millionaire hedge funds and shit started to cover on Friday, that means that it'll take a full 6 days for them to cover all of the shorts or whatever. And while they're closing their shorts, every single day that they're closing their shorts, the price of that stock goes up. So
careful, David.
Say what?
Yeah, I mean, you're correct, but it's like, y'all make sure that you know that it's risky.
Yeah, it's absolutely risky, and I'm not telling you what to do.
Because people get the wrong idea from this kind of stuff. It's like I was watching this guy earlier. He was like, "Don't do this. Do not buy the like." And it's just like a live stream I watch. I've shared it with you, the trading fraternity guy. But it's like he's like, "I'm gonna put a little money in this, but it's just because I'm basically testing out these waters of this new amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it." And then all of a sudden, everyone's pumping it. And like,
don't do it means do it.
Right. And it's like stonks. Yeah. Like
stonks.
It's fantasy world, but there's a lot of people that are going to have a really bad day from this stuff. And,
absolutely. Yeah. Some people will buy in late.
Yeah. Yeah. I just meant like, we want those people having the bad days to be the Wall Street motherfuckers, but there will be others that unfortunately do. But that is the cool thing about the Reddit, is they're basically, that's why they call themselves retards, is because they are completely YOLO mode. Like, we're not selling. There's people that have posted screenshots of their account going up millions of dollars, and they're just like me or David here, and it's like, if they're like, we're not selling till GameStop is 1,000. That's 3 times what it is now. It'd be absolutely just out of this world if that happened. But
they're saying that might even be conservative at this point because of what I was saying about how long it would take them to cover everything for that whole 6 days. It's going to continue to rise for that whole 6 days. If it works out that way. I don't fucking know enough to say that it will or won't. I'm just saying like the information that I do understand is that they're actually thinking that it, maybe 1,000 might have been a joke to begin with, but 1,000 seems very realistic at this point.
I just want people to do their own research.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you firsthand, we talk, money and stuff on the side, but I made a considerable amount of money off of vaccinations in December. I bought some options on these vaccines because there was a fucking set schedule, and I knew it was a great idea. It was like, Moderna is going to talk to so-and-so on the 14th, and then distribution starts on the 19th, and then this happens and this happens. And literally every single one of those scheduled dates was positive news, and the spikes fucking, and eventually it got to the point where I had made a lot of money, and I was greedy, and I was like, I could have pulled that money out and been completely, I was way, way up. I was greedy. I didn't fucking sell I didn't sell and take that money out. I reinvested it because I said, hey, there's still a whole bunch of more scheduled, dates for distribution and approval for different vaccines and stuff like that. I'm just going to keep investing in it. And I literally lost every fucking penny that I gained, all of it, because it was oversold. It was overbought, or it was overpriced, whatever.
And Moderna was that's the stock, but Moderna was a special example just because they hadn't put anything out that was FDA cleared like for 10 years, and they were $17 a year ago. So, but basically, like, a lot of these guys were already big, like Johnson & Johnson, that God willing, they will have a vaccine soon, and we'll have 3, right? But it's like, they could go down. Like, that's the thing. But ultimately, I digress. What we're seeing here is a way to make, like, what happened in 2008, it just kind of pressured Wall Street, and it just called them out, but it didn't get into their money. What they care about is their fucking money.
Right.
That's what I meant by infiltrating Wall Street. We have been able to hit them in their fucking balls so hard to where they are crying all night long and having bad dreams about their balls hurting. And and it's great. And what it'll probably yield is like some reform, but that luckily we have a little bit of progressive influence here. I hope
the problem is, will that reform be good for us or just good for them?
That's what I mean. Luckily, I think that if it happened at the wrong time, like a month ago, that's the thing. I mean, I feel like it's not very debatable that we're in a better situation to make that better for the average person. But the question is how much and what happens, and basically maybe nothing happens. Like that's what I mean. Like maybe it's just like, okay, like Jeremy Powell, the Fed, spoke today and was basically like, I don't do this. It's open markets. God damn it. Like he said a lot of other things about inflation and stuff, and that's why there were other problems. But it's like he was pressed about the GameStop stuff a lot, and this is a guy that is plays every word very carefully because it's the opposite of Donald Trump, basically.
There's an entire movement to fucking get rid of the Fed. So
yeah, sure, but one thing at a time, folks.
No, I'm just saying that might be part of the reason why he's careful with his words, is because people already are gunning for him.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I feel like if you're a voice on TV at all, there's people nowadays gunning for you, and that's what's
true.
What sucks. Like y'all fucking be good to each other. Jesus Christ. Like it's like, God damn it, man. And can we just like, I feel like that's what the country's about, is being able to express yourself without getting death threats. Like I listened to a thing today about Dr. Fauci, like talking for a while about, his basically like getting used to getting death threats.
Yeah. And strange.
It's strange and so fucked up, because like that guy is like, the fact that he never considered quitting and never like considered like, he's like, I just think it's better if I show up every day, because if not, some other person will come in and do a bad job. So, and yeah. I mean, but it's like, God, and it's both sides. But I mean, we're getting out of this era here where it's been one side. I gotta always make that clear, but I just fucking like, people need to just listen to each other. And
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Say, I guess we're going to have to say goodbye to the viewers at this point, and then we can just carry on from here. But thank you for joining me and helping me talk about this.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, hey guys, this is a sensational event that has just occurred before your eyes, whether you witnessed it or not. Go back and check it out, because
it's fucking historic.
Yeah, you'll hear about it for all your life. Just as you have, like in 2008, people knowing about Wall Street getting bailed out and stuff. Like this is just another chapter in the
Wall Street bailout.
The Robinhood verse. Yeah.
Hopefully this time they don't actually get bailed out, and we, the people, are victorious.
Yeah, thus far it's looking like that.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah.